Our culture owes a great deal to the Romans, but no more so than in the area of architecture and engineering in terms of art. That is certainly the most important sort of legacy that they left us. And like us, they were really obsessed with technology, the technology of building. So they were very interested in doing everything bigger, better, faster, stronger. And so they pursued these things pretty relentlessly. Now, all of these developments we're going to talk about are not things the Romans really invented, but things they took to a level that no one had before, things that they had perfected. So the things we'll be talking about right now are the most important developments that the Romans made in the area of architecture and engineering, especially the two main ones, the arch and concrete and surveying. The three main important things, the arch, concrete, surveying, and hypocaust technology. Yeah, four things. Surveying, the arch, concrete, hypocaust technology, and the dome. Five things. Five things. The dome, hypocaust technology, surveying, the arch, and concrete. Now, people had known about the arch for a long time. It enabled you to create an opening in a wall without the top of the opening falling in on you, because it distributed the weight in a more even way than if you tried to do it straight across this way. So people had been making arches for a long time. There was another great benefit to the arch, was that it opened up an area in the wall so that you could use less material. And so this was a huge benefit for the Romans when they started building their aqueducts. But the Roman arch is very different from many of the other ancient arches that you might see. It was made with blocks of really precisely cut stone. And of course, the more they pursued this, the better they got at it. And they discovered just how far you could push the strains on these stones. But they would stack these precisely cut stones in a way so that the only thing that really held the arch in place was the pressure of the stones themselves. So they would start by building a wood frame, a form like this, made out of wood, and then, kind of reinforced so that wouldn't fall in. And then over the top of that, they would stack these precisely cut stones. And they would stack them up completely symmetrically, even on both sides. And when they got to the top, they would lay in what they called the capstone. And once that capstone was in place, they could strike this wood frame and only the stones would remain. And those stones would be held in place by compressive force. So it was very stable, very strong, and you could stack a lot of material on top of this arch while not having to build a solid wall underneath. And so you could repeat this arch, opening up areas in whatever kind of structure you were building, using less material, but also being able to build very high and very large structures. Now, if you like concrete, which is a matter of taste, I suppose, be sure to thank the Romans, because the Romans were the first civilization in history to use it really extensively. They used a lot of concrete, and they got very good at it, just like they had with the arch. Now, concrete is just a mixture of what they call aggregate, which is different size minerals, chunks of things like rubble, rocks, gravel, sand, all this kind of stuff, mixed in with something like lime, quicklime, or calcium aluminate, something like that, to start the chemical reaction when water is added. So when you add water to all that, it becomes a mixture that will set hard over time if you let it cure. So you can, while it's liquid, you can pour it into molds, you can do all kinds of things with it, and this is what the Romans did. So just like they built a form to create their arch structures, they would build a mold, basically, a form in which to pour their concrete. So they would build out of wood a structure like this, a temporary structure, and then they would take whatever mixture they had of their concrete, pour it into this mold, and then let it set. When it was finished setting, they would take down the wooden mold and they would have an arch or whatever kind of shape they wanted there. And they were very good at this. And they discovered that they had some materials available that made it set very hard and be very durable. It's called pozzolana, so let me write that. Pozzolana is a volcanic ash that would make the concrete set very hard, and also made it able to set underwater, so they could use it to build things like piers and docks for ships. They could use it to repair the aqueducts because it would sit underwater. They also used other volcanic products like pulverized pumice and things like that to lighten their concrete. So they experimented a lot and were very good at the use of concrete and used it extensively in things like the Forum, the Colosseum, and other really notable buildings like that.